how to go from a original equipment manufacturer to solution provider.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I hope that this session will run smoother than the previous one, and I will try to keep on track and on time. This is about change. This conference and this exhibition is changing. We are changing, you are changing. So the aim of this talk is to illustrate our experience in changing from a traditional, well-known equipment manufacturer to something else. And as we are in track of this transition, I would very much like to have feedback from your side. How do you feel about it? So very briefly, I guess everybody knows who is Mitsubishi Hitachi Power System. It's a joint venture started in 2014, two-thirds controlled by Mitsubishi Heavy Industries, one-third controlled by Hitachi. And in Europe, it has a large track of records and names, more than 100 years. Around the Deutsche Babcock branding, things have changed quite substantially since then. We used to be power plant builders. We have a world-like track of reference where, as I'm saying always to my children, we used to be the bad guys. That means the ones putting into place dirty plants, and in fact, these are probably the last two ones that are under construction, the last of the Mohicans, as they would say. But still, there are places on Earth that are needed for. But definitely we face a paradigm shift worldwide, and this has to comply with the new challenges that have addressed the branch quite substantially. So responding to the 3Ds, we were able to turn around the ship to meet a number of challenges around the decarbonization of the energy sector. We feel that the core of the transition is about the commitment on decarbonization, and we built around that enablers like decentralization or digitalization, and commitments and tools like the sectoral integration, the circular economy, and so on. So in that framework, we need to adapt our business, and of course we have brought products, and everybody is talking about gas being the enabler. We have brought products that supporting what we call in Germany Energiewende, so thermal generation, gas-based, gas turbine. This is something you all know about it. And the same holds true also about the combined heat and power. I would like to leave for your thought the new adaptation of the German law on CHP, for instance, that has created an additional market demand on industrial products. So things are changing in what I would say the organic part of the business. Obviously, we have been quite active in the zero carbon thermal emission. Zero carbon thermal generation means biomass. We have a vast track of record, no need to spend more time. We are currently retrofitting a wide number of power plants. So technology is there, the business case is there, and I have put with green letters down at the right corner the word bio-CCS or CCU from biomass. We see the challenge on achieving negative emission sources by decarbonizing biomass fire plants, but I will come back to that a little bit later. This is a changing conference, and I have heard the word hydrogen in terms of policies, in terms of strategies, in terms of products. In our conventional business, we are proud to say that we have introduced a full chain hydrogen strategy that is taking place today. That means we have the technologies to bring carbon-free hydrogen into the market today. We recognize in our horizon that in the long term, around 2040, maybe a little bit later, the green hydrogen, that means the conversion of renewable electricity into hydrogen via electrolysis, will be the predominant energy carrier, and it will play a great role in securing carbon-free thermal generation, as well as industrial use, as well as various applications already highlighted by previous speakers. But we feel that the demand of today and in the short terms will be primarily met by what we call blue hydrogen. That means hydrogen decarbonized in the source, or by means of reforming with integrated CCS carbon capture, that means. And to that end, we are partnering with different governments like the Norwegian or the Dutch one, and we are supporting as OEM, as the technology provider, ambitious projects like the Magnum one, which is a full conversion of a gas turbine at 400 megawatts, gas turbine combined cycle at 400 megawatts into hydrogen. Hydrogen that early, by 2025, will be predominantly blue, but carbon-free. And we are talking a full decarbonization by 2025. So we feel that in that context, we will be able to avoid stranded assets to the maximum possible extent in the transition towards a carbon-free economy. Now, this part of the business is, as I told you, the organic conversion, how we manage to change our pattern of products in the in the big-scale central power generation to accommodate the decarbonization challenge. But this is not the whole story. The story, the change that I'm implying in the title of my speech comes because of our full integration as a group company of a larger industrial conglomerate, the Mitsubishi Heavy Industries Group. We belong to the power systems domain. That means that we have a bunch of technologies that allows us to have a very, very complicated but ambitious vision that we have communicated 1.5 years ago at the mid-term management plan, as we call it in Japan. And you are going to recognize lots and lots of dots and pieces around there, but I think the most important are the new streams. So you have seen similar graphs throughout the last 20 years. The different initiatives, ETIPSnet, for instance, in the European Commission Technology Platform, has presented a similar initiative in the decarbonization strategy where we are participating. But I would like to put in, for your reference, 2 new streams on top of the electricity generation that will come from small and large renewables and decentralized and backup power and whatsoever. We have identified the fuel streams as a mean to decarbonization. So we aim to see hydrogen or carbon-free methane or renewable gases in the wider context, renewable fuels to play a bigger role, and that will link into the so-called sectoral integration, the CO2 streams with renewable fuel streams. And that will combine in the innovative products, and as I told you, in the solution business, we understand our role as an integrator of different pieces of technology, starting from the kilowatt scale from our solid oxide fuel cell, moving into batteries, into engines, into organic cycles, open gas turbines, up to the larger central generation. And that will be done, for instance, in combinations already in the market, backup power or waste heat recovery with our ranking organic cycle, or solid oxide fuel cells. Needless to say, we are approaching Tokyo Olympics. The ones of you that are going to travel to Japan will witness the Hydrogen Olympics over there. We contribute a bit, for instance, with a large flagship buildings are already powered with our solid oxide fuel cells, which is our contribution into carbon-free CHP. And that brings me to what we better understand as sectoral integration. That means, on the one hand, developing technologies able to utilize hydrogen from the consumption side, from the demand side. On the other hand, we will have technologies using electrolyzers, for instance, at a very integrated and comprehensive way, together with carbon recycling to deliver synthetic fuels. I think in the last couple of years, pilot projects that like the ones we have brought into the market have reached considerable publicity. I had the opportunity to present, for instance, our methanol synthesis project a couple of years ago. Now we are moving to the next level of industrial maturity. So my message here is that we have completed a number of research and development and industrial demonstration projects on fuel synthesis from CO2. We, on the other hand, are designing, we have constructed the largest CO2 capture plant, which currently uses CO2 for EOR in Texas. The Petranova project, 4,700 tons per day of CO2 separation. And we would like to bridge the know-how and the capabilities on the CO2 capture and the background on chemical industry to synthesis of carbon-neutral fuels using the CCU as a solution for instance, for Europe as well. All this is nice, but it could never become a solution unless you have a digital platform. From the integration of assets, we have already presented a couple of years ago the Tomoni platform. Tomoni comes from the Japanese word tomodachi, meaning friend, means the cooperation of with our partners, with our clients, optimizing their assets, and on top of that, developing a new strategy on the basis of digital solutions. So we are moving now from the OEM, from the construction of equipment, to an integral operation scheme that includes hardware, IT, artificial intelligence, and a number of new business schemes like the ESCO business or the BOO or BOT. So that means nowadays our offering to potential partners extends from the fully engineered low carbon solutions to the different cooperation models, including financing. And that gives us to a very complex picture that took me 4 hours to explain to my board, so I'm not willing to explain anything to you, saying that, just illustrating that we were traditionally the gray part. That means we were building equipment, we were EPCs, we were constructing and maintaining that. And green means not only building this equipment carbon-free, but building also different partnerships with different sort of customers. We are moving, and this is another change of this conference, from the utility week to the energy users week. So we have partnerships with energy-intensive industries, with industrial partnerships. We have new business models, and this extends up to the financing. Having said that, let me wrap up on our strategy and our challenges towards the future. Our primary target is to cope with the societal commitment to decarbonization. So we have developed all these sustainability indexes. We feel that we are integral part of circular economy, and we think that in that context, hydrogen will play a key role. We have the solution. We are bringing the solution to deliver carbon-free thermal power, which will be needed also as a backup as we approach to what we call deep decarbonization, the decarbonization higher than 80%. And we feel that sectoral coupling by means of fuel synthesis will be a solution to achieve also the decarbonization of other sectors. And I would like to close this presentation by saying that we have not been able to identify the silver bullet for all these challenges. Instead of that, we had a number of solutions that extend from the easy ones to the most complex ones. And the easy ones, the low-hanging fruits, we have discussed quite extensively the last year. It is electrification, it is the heat sector, the different electricity usages for storage in batteries or for storage into heat. But as we move towards the highest decarbonization targets, we have to address issues like air transport, like ship transport. We have to address issues like the hydrogen and renewable fuels use, both for sectors that are lagging behind into the decarbonization. And for that, we need a wide sort of technologies and different business models and partnerships. Thank you very much for your attention. I'm very glad to take any questions, and I hope we see each other in next year in a changed format. Thank you very much.